Now available on Tata Sky channel number 526. Welcome to Magic Bricks Now, India's first property channel. You're watching the Urban Debate and Faye D'Souza. Let's take a look at what's making headlines today. Well-known Navi Mumbai developer and owner of Swaraj Group, Raj Khandahari, attempts suicide, reportedly blames the civic administration for project delays and his failing health for this drastic step. In the NCR, home buyers who bought homes in projects built by Triveni fight for their right to a home. Meanwhile, Magic Bricks Now visits the developers' registered offices and finds no signs of the company. All of Mumbai will have metro connectivity in the next 4 years, claims the MMRDA. The agency plans to start work on 7 corridors this year. Work on the Trans-Harbour Link and the monorail have also been fast-tracked. Was shocking news that shook the entire real estate industry. 44-year-old Navi Mumbai developer, the owner of the Swaraj Group, Raj Khandahari, has attempted suicide in his home by shooting himself in the head. The builder, who lives in Vashi, is currently battling for his life in hospital. Reports from the police suggest financial issues, delays caused by corruption in the Navi Mumbai Municipal Corporation were causes for this drastic act. My colleague Aishwarya Paliwal, who's been following this tragic case all day, sent us this report.
We have been here since early morning today. And here's what various Navi Mumbai developers as well as various sources at the police station had to tell us about this incident. Now, Mr. Khandahari had shot himself in his head using his own licensed pistol. And this incident took place on Monday afternoon. And by Monday evening, he was admitted at the MGM hospital here in Vashi in a very critical condition. Even now as we speak, sources tell us that his condition is extremely critical and he has been put on a life support system in the ICU. Now, the Sanpara police station is currently investigating this case, and sources at the police station tell us that they have recovered a diary from Mr. Khandahari's room and that they have seen entries in that diary which point out to the fact that Mr. Khandahari was being harassed by various NMMC officials. There are other entries in this diary which point out to his failing health and various project delays. Apart from that, Sanpara police station also told us that now they are looking at all the angles in this case and that they'll not fall shy of calling people in for questioning if need be.
Well, Aishwarya also caught up with Dharmendra Karya, president of CREDAI Navi Mumbai, to find out if developers in Navi Mumbai are under any sort of stress from the alleged policy paralysis from CIDCO and the Navi Mumbai Municipal Corporation. Listen in.
This is shocking news to entire Navi Mumbai building industry. Very shocking news. We are facing many problems. We are facing unlimited issues like NAINA with government, CCOC problems, additional list premium problems, sensible FSI problems, and many more problems. We are communicating with CIDCO, NMMC and Mantralaya to solve these issues. We have long pending demand of one window system also and fastest clearance system also. They started auto DCR, but still we are not getting speed on that also. We are fighting all the issues with all the agencies, and let us see how far they give support to the industry. जो भी builder के पास जो भी problems आता है वो तुरंत हमारे से communicate करता है. We pass this message to entire our builder industry कि if anyone having same problems, kindly come to us so that we can present jointly. They come to us and we present jointly. And sometimes we get success, but majority time the issues are not getting solved.
Well, while we've highlighted the issues of delays across the country that cause so much heartache to home buyers, it's also important to realize that there are several developers facing a lot of problems when it comes to the ease of doing business across the country, especially this being the second case that we're facing in the Mumbai metropolitan region. Remember, there was a suicide that happened a couple of months ago in Thane for similar reasons. And these are issues that we're taking up on this channel. Meanwhile, CIDCO, The authority tasked with developing Navi Mumbai and Naina has refuted all charges of being the cause for any sort of delay. In a release issued by CIDCO just now, CIDCO calls the developers' claims of delays in approvals arbitrary. CIDCO also says, and I quote, "In larger public interest, it's absolutely essential that permissions must be granted only when proposals are complete in all respects." That's a story we're going to be tracking very closely here on Magic Bricks Now, because the campaign for the ease of doing business within the industry not only impacts developers, it also impacts us as home buyers. And in a lot of cases, as we've discovered, delays are also caused by delays and roadblocks being put in by corruption or by lax government. If you're facing similar issues, you know you can get in touch with us. But in another Magic Bricks Now impact, the Deputy Commissioner of Gurgaon, TL Satyaprakash, has issued notices to AN Buildwell. We had earlier highlighted the problems being faced by buyers in this company's Spire Wood project in Gurgaon. Buyers had been promised delivery in December 2013, but construction simply hasn't progressed. The Deputy Commissioner has also asked the Town Planning Department to file a petition seeking a stay on provisional liquidation of the company's assets. The liquidation had been ordered by the Delhi High Court. Spirewood has 600 flats and the buyers have already paid over 80% of the costs of those flats. And staying with the NCR region, buyers' protests against project delays have gained even more momentum. Over 50 home buyers took to the streets to protest against the Triveni group. Residents allege that over 1,700 families, including retired BSF Jawans, elderly couples, have been fighting for possession for over a decade. My colleague Deepa Rana, who was with those protesters, sent us this report.
हम लोग यहाँ पे खड़े हैं त्रिवेणी बिल्डर की मारे हुए। हम लोगों ने 2006-2007 में पैसा लगाया था। बिल्डर ने 80 से 90% पैसा हमसे ले लिया है और 10 साल हो गए हैं और हम लोग इधर से उधर घूम रहे हैं। हरियाणा में इतना बड़ा कानून है जो कि SDRU एक्ट कहलाता है, जो कि 71 से लागू है, और जो DTCP जो इसको कंट्रोलिंग अथॉरिटी है, जो CM साहब के डायरेक्टली अंडर में आता है, वो कुछ नहीं कर रहे हैं। वो खाली हाथ बैठे हुए हैं। वो उनको कम से कम चाहिए कि प्रोजेक्ट को जो कैंसिल करें, लाइसेंस को कैंसिल करें और अपना काम एज ए कानून, जो भी कानून बनता है, कानून पे आगे बढ़ाएं।
सर, ये प्रोजेक्ट कहाँ पे लोकेटेड है और कितने होम बायर्स और कितने पैसे आप दे चुके हैं?
ये इन्होंने कम से कम 1000 करोड़ रुपए उठा लिए हैं और ये प्रोजेक्ट जो है, दो प्रोजेक्ट में 78 सेक्टर और 89 सेक्टर में दो जगह हैं। कम से कम 5000 लोगों ने फ्लैट यहाँ बुक कराए हैं और 5000 लोग 80% 90% पैसा दे चुके हैं।
मैंने पेंशन का सारा पैसा दिया है, 20 लाख दे चुके हैं और अभी तक हमें कुछ भी नहीं मिला। उसका इंटरेस्ट ही कितना है और किराए पे रह रहे हैं, अपना मकान नहीं है, क्योंकि ये भरा था कि ये मिलेगा पर नहीं मिला और तब से धक्के खा रहे हैं। बीइंग अ लेडी मैं कितने चक्कर लगा सकती हूँ, हार के घर बैठ गए कि नहीं दे रहे कुछ, लेकिन अब सब लोग इकट्ठे हुए दोबारा फिर से शुरू करने के लिए।
200 फैमिलीज BSF के हार्ड मनी, जिन्होंने रिटायर पर्सन्स BSF की फैमिलीज ने लगाए हैं 300 से, सॉरी, और उसके बावजूद भी आज कोई भी सुनवाई नहीं होती है, ना कोर्ट में ना गवर्नमेंट की साइड से। और इनफैक्ट जो बाकी लोग पीपल सारे हैं, इनिशियली कंस्ट्रक्शन स्टार्ट हुई थी, उसके बाद बिल्डर कहाँ है कहीं कोई पता नहीं है।
उन्होंने पहले 100 करोड़ का कोई इंडिया गेट के आसपास एक प्रॉपर्टी खरीदा था। ये ट्रांसफर सम फंड्स इन ऑस्ट्रेलिया, 7 नंबर सिकंदरा रोड, ठीक है। ही स्टेज इन डिफेंस कॉलोनी। व्हेन पीपल अप्रोच हिम ही सेज कि इससे ज़्यादा पैसा मैं पॉलिटिशियन को खिलाता हूँ। ओपनली आगे चैलेंज कर लो। लिक्विडेशन के अंदर लिक्विडेटर के पास मामला 3 साल से पड़ा हुआ है। हम सब ने ये बोला गया कि शायद लिक्विडेशन के अंदर मार्केट वैल्यू करके पैसा आएगा। ये हैड सेड कि 650 रुपये करोड़ की क्लेम्स है इनकम टैक्स के, बैंक के 2000 करोड़ के देने हैं, तो देन वी आर एज एन अनसिक्योर्ड क्रेडिटर विल गेट नॉट इवन अ सिंगल पेनी। सो हेंस द थिंग इज दैट लिक्विडेटर हैज नॉट इवन गिवन एनी रिप्लाई इन टर्म्स ऑफ व्हाट इज द एक्चुअल वैल्यू। लेटली व्हाट वी हैव गॉट टू नो इज कि उन्होंने कोई और बिल्डर के थ्रू 89 सेक्टर में और भी जमीन थी, वो बैक एंड तरीके से खरीद ली है। सो दैट मीन्स ही हैज इनफ फाइनेंशियल मसल, बट ही वांट्स दैट इट शुड गो इनटू लिक्विडेशन सो दैट उसकी इनकम टैक्स लायबिलिटीज, बैंक लायबिलिटीज, जैसे किंगफिशर में विजय मल्ल्या के साथ जब ये चीज हो सकती है तो उसके साथ क्यों नहीं हो सकती मैम?
In fact, our reporter Deepa Rana attempted to connect with the management of the company at Triveni Infrastructure. This is what she found.
We are standing outside the Eros Towers in Nehru Place, where the Triveni Company Limited used to have their office. However, we've been told that this office has been moved to Mohan Estate in Mathura Road. We also went to Mathura Road to meet the management. However, in Mohan Estate in Mathura Road also there was no sign of any management and the office was also closed. Now we are trying our best to get in touch with the management of this company, but to no avail till now. We will continue our struggle to get in touch with the company and with the management, and if need be, we will also try and get in touch with the registrar of companies. Deepa Rana for Magic Bricks Now in New Delhi.
Meanwhile, retired BSF jawans, senior citizens are waiting for their homes that they booked over a decade ago. These people have now taken to the streets to fight for their homes. On Magic Bricks Now, we take that fight very seriously. We want your voice to be heard. On the urban debate tonight, we have home buyers of Triveni Infra who've been fighting for their homes and a panel who will try and help them find a possible solution. Joining me in the studio, Nirav Jani, Associate Partner at Haryani & Company, Uday Vavikar, Vice President, Consumer Court Bar Association, Maharashtra and Goa, Krishnaraj Rao, he's an RTI activist, home buyers, BK Jain, Sanjay Nagpal and Rohit Rohatgi, who joined me as well. I want to start with the home buyers. Sanjay Nagpal, tell me first, what have you heard from the company? Tell us the progress of the case and what have you done as a group of home buyers so far? Where is the case at this point?
As far as the company is concerned, the company is currently in the liquidation, and the directors of the company and the owners of the company, they have washed their hands. They are saying that they already have siphoned off the money, and all the matters are in the court. In the one case, the 5,200 person has been impeded in the criminal complaints. So there is a system that around 1 week or 2 weeks, if take the one witness, there are around 20-30 years will take the criminal case. The builder nothing will be settled. In winding up, last 10 years the court is pending. Nothing will be settled here. So builder, no, there is a system. Nothing will be settled.
Okay, Nirav Jani, I want to just 1 second. Nirav Jani, I want to ask you this. This is something we've heard repeatedly. When a court-appointed liquidator is brought in, there are several claims on who needs to be paid first. There are banks from whom the developer would have borrowed for construction. There might be other creditors as well who are waiting to be paid. Where does the home buyer fall in that pecking order? At what point can the home buyer expect to be paid back?
So when the company gets into liquidation, at that point of time, there's an entire steps and process as to how the money is to be repaid. And the first in line are the workman dues and the secured creditors. The banks would fall into the category of secured creditors. And they would take first, and then whatever remains will go to the unsecured creditors. By secured creditors, you would mean who has got security against which money can be paid. So typically, if a mortgage has been created in favor of a bank, they are secured. So they have the first right to sell that particular property, and whatever money is recovered will be appropriated by them. And if there is any extra, then that will fall into the other creditors, which are the unsecured creditors. So that's the system that would apply in case of liquidation.
All right.
So the home buyers would be typically into the category of unsecured creditors.
So they come last, the home buyers come last in case, and this I'm asking this question for anybody else who's watching, maybe in the NCR region or at home, who's faced a similar case and they've heard that the court has appointed liquidators. Can they expect to come last then, Nirav?
No, so it depends at the stage that it happens. When you are going to go and purchase a flat and you have done your diligence, and if there's already a mortgage that is registered, then you're put to notice that there's a lender who already has a secured right over the premise, and you are purchasing subject to those rights. However, if there's a loan that is taken subsequently thereafter, then that will be subject to your rights. So then that will be because a right has already been created in your favor. So it will depend at what stage the secured creditors are claiming the right and what stage you have purchased the premise.
Mr. BK Jain, tell me what your experience has been as a senior citizen who bought a home from this builder. Who recommended this builder to you? Why did you choose this particular construction?
Well, that was the year 2006. I mean, you know, I was looking for a home for a long time. I've been living in a rental house for a long, long time. And then the market was just going up and up and up. And I looked at the Faridabad area. That was a promising area, and that was slightly underpriced compared to any other region of the NCR. And, you know, then I found a nice brochure, nice ad by this company called Triveni Infrastructure Development Company. And they were promoting that, you know, they have got a license from Haryana state government or whatever. And they were offering at a very competitive rate. And so I booked a flat there in the year 2006. And, you know, as a standard agreement, we signed or whatever. And the normal course was that in 48 months or 36 months, you'll get a possession of your flat. But it has been a really hard time since then, because, you know, in year 2009, you notice that, you know, the construction has stopped kind of. There were very few workers on the place. And then slowly, like 2010, 2011, the construction basically stopped. And, so we have been just waiting since ever then. And there were lots of people just like me. So, we made an association kind of, and we've been fighting this case in Delhi court or whatever.
What is the status of the case?
Currently, the company, basically there are 3 cases are pending. One is with the DTCP. DTCP is not taking any action against our complaints. Number 2, the criminal complaints. There is a basically deliberate attempt on the part of the builder to influence the investigation. So what has been done, only the single FIR has been lodged. In that FIR, all the 5,200 person has been deliberately made as the complainant, as the witness, so the trial should not be finished ever. Number 3, third is the winding up proceedings are going on. So in the winding up proceedings also, deliberately the dummy person has been put it up so that the court proceeding should be linger on. So last 10 years, the matter is going on the company court, and I am sure that in the next 10 years, it will never finish.
All right, I'm just going to stop you there for 1 second to just take in some breaking news. There's some disturbing news coming in from the Navi Mumbai area. Raj Kandari has passed away from what we understand. As we reported earlier, Kandari shot himself on Monday. Aishwarya joins me now with details. Remember, this circles back to the case of the ease of doing business, or the lack of it, on the local authority level when it comes to permissions and municipal authorities that put pressure on developers to pay up for permissions, to pay up for clearances for their homes. From what we understand, Raj had been waiting for over 4 years for clearance from CIDCO once the Naina project had been brought in, for clearances for a project that he had already paid 50 crore rupees on, that he did not receive. Raj has now passed away. Aishwarya joins me on the phone line. Aishwarya, what are you hearing from the hospital?
So what we are hearing is that just a few minutes back, he passed away. He was on life support system, but that could not sustain him for long because the shot that he had gone through his skull, and the doctor said that there was nothing more that they could actually do in this case.
Okay. All right, Aishwarya. Now, this is a story that we're taking up very strongly on Magic Bricks now because it's a question of the ease of doing business, especially in the Navi Mumbai and Thane area. We've heard repeated reports of extortion from local authorities, of extortion from local corporators, and this is another case. This is the second case of a suicide within the developer community in the last 6 months. After the first case, the state government promised us on this channel that they will take up the issue, that they will solve the problem of local level corruption. That has obviously not happened. We are going to take this case up very, very strongly. We stand by Raj and his entire family in this very, very troubling time. Coming back to the story about Triveni that we were just talking about, Uday Vavekar, the other problem is, of course, cases that are not strategized very well. In this case, Sanjay, they're telling us that there were over 500 witnesses that would be called, and the case would just go on and on, hearing after hearing, witness after witness. What do buyers do in situations like this? How do you strategize a case in situations like this? We seem to have lost Uday Vavekar. Krishna?
Yeah.
What do buyers do in cases like this where there are 500 witnesses to be heard?
I think you could take the matter to a magistrate. You could approach a magistrate and request that the whole thing be structured differently. It's called a private complaint, basically, where the magistrate files proceedings and then you can lead the evidence yourself.
Right.
There is a CRPC section for that, CRPC 353 if I remember correctly, where you are going to take the position or your lawyer is going to take the position of a public prosecutor, and you will lead the evidence in the whole thing. So naturally then you will lead the evidence in a way that makes more sense. I think that is the kind of action that is needed to be taken.
Nirav, Jani, do you agree?
See, there are processes that are in place and they may not always be mended or be jumped at times. Now, at the time of filing the FIR, instead of clubbing all the affected affected
Passing
flat buyers,
right.
they could have taken a decision of only one or two who could have been the persons who are a part of the FIR. And that would be enough because the punishment is going to be the same eventually if he's convicted.
Right.
Well, if there are so many complainants to the FIR, then there could possibly be that there could be so many witnesses. But the solution to that could be that everybody says that we don't want to lead evidence separately, and we would just have a common evidence that could be led. And that may not lead to the delay, because if everybody consents to a common evidence, then that could be the same amount of witnesses that could be there.
All right, Rohit joins us now from Singapore. Rohit is also a buyer with the same project. Rohit, tell us, how difficult is it to track this case from Singapore? Do you, are you hoping to get your home still? Have you given up?
Absolutely a nightmare. That's what I explain in 2 words. And the way I look at it, I mean, if I look at how I entered into this whole thing, as Mr. B.K. Jain as well as Sanjay pointed, during 2006 and 7, this builder was like a dream builder for anybody in NCR region. That's how he sort of managed, if I'm not wrong, there's like tentative number of few thousand customers, about in between 3 to 5,000, because he has license for around 5,000 flats. He impressed people with, fancy brochures, the sample flats and everything. If you look at how this whole episode has turned out to be now, he has taken pretty much 70 to 80% of the total, proceedings of the property from every customer. And the current status of the project still remains 10 to 15%. They are just, in some towers there are slabs. In some towers there are not even slabs. So they have just digged the basements and it's left like that. So overall, if you look at, to me, if I see a hope, there is only one hope, that DTCP comes into picture. I don't care what happens to builder, and that's a separate thread altogether. There is a regulation, HDR Act 1975. I think a lot of people have pointed that out. And now is the time when DTC comes into picture, says, okay, whatever has happened, there has to be someone to take interest of customers as well. They can take over, they can cancel the license, they can take over the project, and at least for the customers who are interested in getting the flats like me. I mean, this flat was sort of a dream, sort of a apartment or roof for family and parents, which I bought, and I've pretty much spent whatever I've saved so far.
Right. So it's very clear, Krishna, that what they want is their home right now. I mean, we could keep talking about the fact that you'd go on fighting this case. So what these buyers actually want is their home. And what I want to focus on this show right now is, how do we get them their homes? What are the possible solutions?
Have you considered filing a writ petition before the High Court and asking for appropriate directions to DTC? In view of the fact that otherwise the whole thing is going nowhere, at least where home buyers are concerned.
Sanjay Nagpal, has a writ petition been filed in the High Court at all?
The writ petition has been filed in the Chandigarh High Court.
Okay.
But the stand has been taken by the DTCP that the matter is pending before the Delhi High Court. So after listening that, the court has not taken any action after that.
Not taken any action. Uday Vavikar, what advice would you give these home buyers? They just want their homes, really.
They can definitely file a class action petition before either National Commission or at the respective state commission, and ask for they can form their association. The association also can file the class action petition against the builder for 3 things. One is either to get a possession of the flat, or alternatively any other flats in any other projects of this builder, or any other flat in the same locality of the same size or market value to be refunded to them, along with the interest and compensation. In any case, they can also get an interim order not to create a third party interest.
But if Uday Vavikar, if this developer's company is already under liquidation,
it does not matter. Exactly, that's a very good question. If the company is under liquidation, the liquidator can be made a party. Proceedings, Consumer Protection Act is an exception to the liquidation proceeding, and they can get a decree. Once they get a decree, they comes into the priority of payment, and therefore they become a secured creditors. Therefore, in any case, even they can go for attachment of properties of the builder, unless all the properties are vested with the liquidator.
Is the builder available for all this? I mean, are they there? I'm asking the association members or the association.
Mr. BK Jain, have you managed to get in touch with the developer? And what response are you getting? Is the developer available? Is he showing up in court? Is he appearing in court?
Matter of fact, the developer is very much there. You know, he has other properties, for example, Sector 89. And, you know, they had a bunch of different companies by different names. So one company is called Triveni Infrastructure Development Company. There is another company called Triveni Ferrous Infrastructure Development Company. And, you know, there is so much of, you know, cross holding of the shares or whatever. And, you know, so matter of fact, I mean, now they have bought Triveni Ferrous by, you know, the name of the persons who are the promoters are Sumit Mittal and Madhur Mittal.
Okay.
And they have basically now become the owner of Sector 89. There is another company called Triveni Ferrous. And recently I was in Chandigarh, and, you know, they are again approaching the government of Haryana to allocate them the other license. I was so surprised that, you know, one license they already have, you know, caused a liquidation.
This is the upsetting part. This is the upsetting part.
Another license.
This is the upsetting part. Krishna Raj, Uday Vavekar, more licenses being given out by government. And I know that if we check in Delhi, we'll get the same response which we always get, which is the duplication of authorities in Delhi, that you have Noida, you have Gurgaon, you have North Delhi, you have South Delhi. Everybody's handing out different licenses. And that leaves so much of a loophole there for developers who've defaulted in this manner to go out to another part of the city and get a license for something else. I mean, if in the very least, somehow we should stop this developer from getting any more licenses to start any more projects until he solves the mess that he's already created.
Yeah, these are these jurisdictional divisions that people take advantage of, like Veerappan took advantage going between Karnataka and Tamil Nadu.
But the truth is that if he's unable to pay his creditors, where's the money coming from to start another project?
There are two things. One is they can approach the Economic Offences Department, and at the same time they can move in the respective High Court for the writ petition, or in their writ petition they can move an application saying that these are the licenses, unless and make those authorities a party. This was made in Bombay. Even in Consumer Court they can do this, making these authorities as a party for a class action petition, where direction can be given by Consumer Court National Commission saying that these builders' licenses should be cancelled, or at the same time writ can also give them this, and economic offence also can take place.
This is my question. Nirav Jani, if you want to jump in here. If this developer is applying for fresh licenses to build more, which means that he is displaying some sort of asset or title that he has on the land that he's going to build in, which can be RTI'd from that local authority, should these buyers then source that information and use it in consumer court to liquidate assets and get their money back?
Yeah, certainly. Certainly they can do that. But as a strategy, since they've already been into litigation for 10 years, so I believe that starting new proceedings is again starting all over again. Okay. So on what I have heard till now, I think so as a strategy, the first thing that they should do is, since they're already into 10 years for a criminal case, and it appears to be a classic case where some intention of cheating or otherwise, they should ensure that this particular criminal matter is fast-tracked. So immediately approach the concerned authority and have a time-bound hearing for this particular matter with a particular magistrate, irrespective of the number of witnesses that are there. So that will give some sort of pressure, because the matter will be heard on a day-to-day basis, and there'll be something that will be moving on a day-to-day basis. So that should be the first step. The second step is to immediately write to the authorities and say that all licenses that are currently granted should be suspended, and no further licenses should be granted to this particular entity, its subsidiaries, holdings, group, sister, and the directors in the individual capacity. In the event that is not done on the immediate basis, then the best remedy available is to file a writ with a direction to the High Court that please ask the authority to take this particular action. And then thereafter, the third remedy is to approach the liquidation proceedings to see as to how that can proceed.
Can I ask the lawyers on this panel?
Yes.
Is there an option for approaching Supreme Court and asking them to consolidate all these various cases, consumer, criminal and so on and so forth, writ petition, everything, consolidate them under, let us say, a court commissioner who takes charge of the whole thing and treats the whole thing as one thing instead of separate things.
Uday Bhavekar, does it make sense to approach the Supreme Court?
The question is Supreme Court where there is an appellate court, fine. But if they could go under the public interest litigation, I think it is possible. We'll have to look at this.
It might be possible. Uday Bhavekar, is it advisable? Would you advise it?
Consolidating it.
I would definitely advise it. But then thing is how much priority they'll get even in Supreme Court is the question. And the expenses that would come.
All right, so unfortunately, that's where we are as home buyers. Low priority, high expenses. Saurabh Jain is on the phone line right now. Saurabh, go ahead.
Yeah, basically, I have booked a flat in Triveni, Galaxy Sector 78, Faridabad in year 2006, in April month. And now we are in 2016, 10 years are passed and there is nothing on the ground. I mean, I have paid almost 80% of the money which is due towards me for the completion of the flat, but I have not got anything.
All right, so yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Saurabh.
Yeah, so basically, I live in Haryana. So if I build a house on a land which is not authorized by the government, by the HUDA, by the DTCP, they can anytime can come and can demolish my house because I do not have the requisite permissions or license or all sort of papers. Now I have booked a flat with a licensed colony. They have given the license. They have all the power. They have all the HDR acts and all. And still the builder is roaming free and I do not have any house. I mean, why they are not actually acting on it? I mean, how I can approach the court? How?
Saurabh Jain, what do you want at this point? Is your main problem the fact that the developer is roaming free, or that you don't have your house? Give us a one-point agenda that we can work at.
Yeah. Basically, I want a house. I want my house.
You want your house. You want your Sanjay Nagpal. Is that all you want? You want your house?
Yeah, we want our house. The only solution is a DTCP, who is a competent authority, and as per provision he can act. But DTCP, the reason best known to him, it is not acting. They are not cancelling the license or taking over the project. If they are taking over the project, an entire solution can be done.
All right, Nirav Jani, we've talked about this a couple of times. At some point, there's no other option really but for the buyers to take over the project. Now, we could wait a year for the real estate regulator to come in, and the real estate regulator will have the option and the wherewithal to take over the project. In the meantime, would you recommend these buyers who waited for 10 years to get their homes, move to the courts and attempt to just take over the project themselves and finish it?
See, it depends on facts of each case. If the building is substantially complete structurally, and if there's only the other interior part, or there's only electricity or some other essential services that need to be plugged in for the home buyers to get possession, then it is a viable option which they could consider if they can form a team of architects and engineers and all together. However, if the building is at a very nascent stage, then it's quite a cumbersome process for them to actually start it from that process, and the better advice would be to either compel the authority to take over the project and complete it for them, or return the money back. So it depends. If the building is nearing completion, then it's better to take over the project if possible.
This building is at 10-15%,
I think.
And in some cases, some towers are just holes in the ground. So we're very far away from completion.
I think we are letting the government abdicate its responsibility here.
No, but see, Krishna, on one level you take on the government, on the other level we could take on the government for another 10 years and get no reaction. Let's be honest, in the NCR region, making government accountable is a hugely challenging prospect.
When you got thousands of people, I think this should turn into one of those huge scams, and turn it into a major embarrassment for the government. I think they need to punch above their weight in order to get this thing done. And I'm sure government has the powers to take over, and once they come in and promise something to the home buyers, then they will be under pressure to deliver. So you basically need to push them to the wall until they come out with some kind of a promise instead of just standing by as bystanders and saying, oh no, whatever is happening, we are not responsible. You have to make them responsible.
Fair class action petition before the National Commission, as it was done in case of the hallmark of the gold or Ahmedabad water distribution and burning problem, municipality and all the authorities were taken. All the departments were also taken. Similar class action petition can be filed before National Commission, and all the concerned authorities, like you have Delhi Development Corporation, MADA in Bombay, all of them also come under Consumer Protection Act. So these authorities also can be made a party. I think that will be a much faster process with an interim relief for these people.
So there's the judicial process, and you need to take up the political process. And I think you're going the right way, protesting and coming down on the streets.
Right, take up the political process. Naveen Verma is on the phone line from, believe it or not, Glasgow, Scotland, who's also bought a home with Triveni buyers. Naveen, go ahead.
Hi, thanks for taking my call. Actually, I invested in Sector 78 Faridabad, the Triveni Galaxy with them, Triveni Builder in 2006 around. So it's now almost like 10 years, and I've paid around 90% of the flat cost so far. I mean, I have invested all of my lifetime saving, and Builder has 500 almost all of the money, and this scam is around about in the figure of 1,500 crores. That's the amount we are talking about here. Till date, some eyewash kind of a construction has been done on some of the towers. Some of the towers are absolutely nothing has been done on the site. I mean, it's pretty much to, come do the eye kind of an eyewash and, for banks and everything. The Triveni builder has taken us for a ride. He knows that I'm an NRI, can't come to the India, can't do anything against him. We have approached several authorities, including going to the Indian consulate here. But pretty much nothing has happened so far. I'm under tremendous pressure what to do, where to go, who do I actually speak with. Mr. Prime Minister, he has visited here, and he all the time says that we should invest in India. All the NRI should invest, remit the money to the India. But looking at fraud and everything which is happening, which puts us on a back foot, what to do next going forward. I have been completely cheated. Feeling like what to do now, what is my way forward to get the money back or to get the flat. At least something should happen. Builder keeps threatening us. He has taken us for a ride.
What do you mean he keeps threatening you? Naveen Verma, what do you mean when you say the developer keeps threatening you?
We have formed an association, to fight a case against the Triveni builder. And on and builder, hires the goons. And through goons, he calls different members. And life-threatening kind of a
Have you received threats to your life, Naveen? Have you personally received?
One of my close worker has received that. That's a life-threatening kind of a call. Even his parents were harassed, and they received these kind of a calls from the builder.
Naveen, I read that there are false FIRs.
No, I also want to understand from BK Jain. I want to understand
association leaders. What's
BK Jain and Sanjay Nagpal, have you also received threats from the developer? This is what Naveen Verma is telling us from Scotland. Have you had a similar experience?
No. Yeah. Not only threat has been received, the false FIR has been lodged against all the persons who are pursuing the legal cases in various cases in Agra, Ghaziabad, or by the dummy person of the builder, who are basically either director in either companies or either employees. The attempt to robbery and the attempt to murder cases, all the cases has been registered against us.
After the case was registered against you, what happened?
We have filed a quashing petition before the Allahabad High Court, and that is pending.
It's absolutely atrocious behavior there by Triveni in the NCR region. Not only have these developers not handed over homes after 10 years with no construction, they have threatened the people who are fighting against them. They have filed fake FIRs against all of these home buyers, and they have intimidated home buyers, especially in the NCR region where the problem is so terrible. Triveni Builders, this group, had projects that they launched over 10 years ago. There are people who are waiting for 10 years to get their homes, including Bharat Gupta, who's a retired BSF Jawan, who's been waiting for 10 years. Bharat Gupta, go ahead. Bharat Gupta, can you hear me?
Yeah. Actually, when we had bought this, it was published in a very good way and advertised in a beautiful way. the Singapore, this architecture and everything. War widows of even families of the 300 families of BSF Jawan has invested in this, but nobody is hearing anything about completion of this project. Further, most of the people have invested their life savings till now, unable to understand how we will get our dream home, and moreover, it is the project was already approved by the State Bank of LIC of India and other associated banks. What investigation they did that I am unable to understand what type of.
Do you feel, Bharat Gupta, that the law and order situation has let you down? That the machinery of our country has let you down?
Yes.
You know, and this is the thing, Nirav Jani, Uday Vavekar. Here we have a scam. It's nothing less than a scam of over 1,500 crore rupees. The person, Madhur Mittal, lives in Delhi, comes face to face with these home buyers. Seems like nothing is wrong with him. This is big enough. I don't understand why he has not been arrested. I don't understand why his passport has not been impounded, why he's being prevented from traveling. The next thing he will know that he'll jump on a flight and go to London, or he'll go to New York and he'll live there. He's obviously made enough money to live comfortably. Why isn't there more being done? Why do people, like the people on the phone right now, these home buyers, these regular citizens who've put in their entire lives, BSF, 4G officers who fought their entire lives for this country, why aren't we able to do more? Nirav Jani.
Yes, the correct course would be, I mean, I don't know the facts of the matter that they've been pursuing since 10 years, but like I said earlier, the correct strategy forward would be to get a time-bound hearing and to ensure all that they can do so that they get their relief.
Hearing?
A fast-track hearing, of course, yes.
I think you need to present the whole thing as a scam that afflicts the entire system. See, these are thousands of people, so we are talking about them. But there are millions of people in smaller projects, same story, and nobody is talking about them. So what I'm trying to say here is, you need to combine this into a system-wide scam that is happening and present it as such. I'm talking to the association members. It might help if you join cause with people similar to yours, similar to your case. Maybe happening in Haryana.
This is a challenging thing.
Yeah.
While there are similar problems, the details of each case are so different. How do you combine this case with anybody else's case?
A lot of them are very similar.
Uday Vavekar?
Disturbing.
I still insist, because if all of them come together and file a class action petition before National Commission with all the authorities as parties, things can be moved. They have to move to Economic Offence Department also, and politically and socially also with media. Of course, you are taking a marvelous job, but media also. If the pressure is built through the ministerial levels and somebody to take over this project, especially governmental housing development corporations, I think things could be worked out.
And you
rightly said, person can go to London and run away. You are absolutely right. We'll have to impound his passport to the proper process of law and also attach his properties wherever necessary after getting interim relief orders and decrees, so that they can, in fact, in consumer, after a decree, you can auction the property to the collector, the personal properties of the builder.
Uday Vavekar, we've had buyers who've called us from across the world right now. Naveen Verma called us from Scotland. We have Rohit, who's currently on Skype with us from Singapore. This class action suit that you're talking about, can these buyers file something from overseas? Will they get more attention? They've said that the embassies have not been able to help them. What can they do from overseas?
No. See, they'll have to form an organization, or they can file individual cases before the consumer courts also. And today the world is small. In fact, in Maharashtra, they have started online filing. They have for consumers in State Commission. They are also now doing video conferencing. for the lawyers across. So I think we are moving. We'll have to take a positive strategy, but together they can really fight. Individually it will be slightly difficult, but even then I think every inch of every person, a single person also can make a difference.
And you need to pitch it as a problem to in terms of India's image abroad. As you said, there are people in Singapore, people in Glasgow, Scotland. They need to really pitch it as a problem of India's image and what is Achhe Din and what is Make in India and what is Invest in India.
Indeed, what is Achhe Din? What is the point of the whole campaign?
For that matter, what is the credibility of LIC? I think you need to actually drag them into the mud, if I may use that expression. You need to drag them into the mud. Because they are doing these things and getting away with it. Banks are doing these things. They are endorsing these builders and they with no accountability. So you need to, cast the accountability at them and make it stick.
So people watching at home, one of the things we've taken away over the last couple of days from these discussions is that do not assume just because there's a bank or there is a lender who's given a pre-clearance on home loans for a particular developer that they've done all of their homework. You have to do your own homework as well. We can no longer take that sort of thing for granted. Nirav Jani, what is your advice for Rohit, who joins us from Singapore, and for Naveen, who called us from Scotland? What would you recommend they do?
Like it applies for everybody. They will have to follow the process of law, and they'll have to, for a faster action, get together and adopt the best process available. If it is of a larger scale and a larger magnitude, at times some processes can be mended to some extent so that a faster relief or some sort of a better, faster relief can be given. So that needs to be explored because it's a larger, many home buyers are being affected, not few in number.
All right. So here's the advice that we're getting right now. First of all, attempt to fast track the case that you're already on. Mr. Jain and Mr. Nagpal, Sanjay Nagpal, the case that's already being heard, approach the magistrate to fast track that case down to about 3 months so that you can get a faster hearing done. Uday Vavekar recommends you approach the EOW, which is the Economic Offences Wing, and file a complaint to bring the developer to book. Have any of these things already been done? What is the strategy that your lawyers are asking you to do at this point?
I am also asking for consumer court class action petition.
And a class action petition from consumer court. Sanjay Nagpal.
Two things. First thing is, as far as the complaint before the Economic Offence Wing is concerned, so all the game has been played with the connivance of the Economic Offence Wing. Basically the total 5,200 person has been clubbed in single FIR by the Economic Offence Wing itself, not on our complaint. It is the basically action of the Economic Offence Wing, so that whole trial to criminal proceeding can be delayed. So this is basically the connivance with the builder.
Try to get it restructured.
Number 2.
What do you mean by restructure?
Try to get it restructured. See, you are quite right. 5,000 witnesses, it doesn't work. You're perfectly right.
But that's what Nirav said. Nirav said get it fast-tracked.
Restructured. No, get it restructured by a court so that, I don't know if this is what Uday is saying about the class action. I think he is talking about consumer court here. But what I'm trying to say here is the criminal thing. For example, you don't need to have one by one each person's instance. What you need to do is take a big picture, and that is the kind of thing that the association can do. It can present a big picture to the Economic Offence Wing, to the police, and they can be prosecuted. The builders can be prosecuted, and let's use their names, Sunil Mittal and Madhur Mittal. Let's stop saying Triveni. Sunil Mittal and Madhur Mittal and whoever else is associated with them can be prosecuted. And anyone who has acted in connivance, and I mean public officials, have to be dragged into it in terms of their abetting and conspiratorial actions. Please make the association the voice of the whole thing before the criminal court.
Make the government party to your entire campaign and to your entire case. Uday Vavekar?
That's what I'm saying. In a consumer class action petition, we already have 5 examples of National Commission where all the departments of the government were made party. I'm talking of Hallmark of the Gold, the Secretariat, the Jewelers Association. Here you can make a Builders Association a party. Unfortunately, in our country, even in RERA, on our recommendations also, there is no licensing of the builder. or accreditation of the builder, and therefore this problem occur. On the one side, we have to do, I agree totally that we have to do a total due diligence these days as far as properties are concerned. Take the advice of the consultant at a proper time, and then you will know what is the project really is. Secondly, at the other side, from the governmental areas also, we should do the accreditation and licensing of the builder. But in the present case, I think a class action petition would be really proper, because if you remember, even the case of the noodles was transferred to National Commission by the Honorable Minister and the Parliament to take the proper action in terms of the quality of the noodles and the other cases. So therefore here we have Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation case, we have Gold Hallmark case. This entire people come together, form an association and file a case as a class action petition. Even individually they can come together and form an association. All can be made parties, all the departments can be made the parties, and the things could be moved.
Right.
And there are interim relief provisions where if the interim relief is faulted by a builder, he can go to the jail for 3 years. His personal properties can be attached. So that is another fast track. Consumer court is in fact more fast track court. There are orders against Unitech, there are orders against all the big players, and they have to settle the matters.
All right. In fact, we have a couple more people on the phone line. I'd like to hear their voices and hear their problems. Rakesh Nayak is on the phone line. Go ahead, Rakesh.
Yeah, ma'am. I'm Rakesh Naik, and I'm calling from Delhi. And I am one of the genuine buyers from Triveni Galaxy Sector 78. I invested the money in 2006 when a pre-launch project happened. And I paid 90% amount to Triveni, but till date there's no chances for the positions. There's no any hope for the completion of this project. We raised several complaints and economical offence being, and did the several complaints to the DCP, but no action has been taken. So this is my request to government and all this government judicially. People like government should take strict action against those buyers who did this kind of thing.
Well, the government has, of course, brought in that real estate regulatory bill, but it's going to be a year before we see a regulator in any of our cities. Rajiv is on the phone line from London, from what I understand. Rajiv, go ahead.
Yeah, ma'am. I don't think any real estate act can help India as long as these acts have to be delivered or governed by these corrupt officials.
Yes.
Haryana has the most strong laws in the country. These officials, we think that if a new officer comes, he will be honest, but we are failing to understand that when an IAS officer joins this particular department, how their conscience dies down. We have gone to High Commissions in London. High Commissioner himself says, my own flat, there is a flat in Durga Builder in Noida. I have not got my flat. How can I help you? These people themselves are so helpless. They have recommended a CBI investigation in India against this builder. But once it has gone to India, everything has gone down. This builder is bigger than the system. Ma'am,
yes.
We alone, we are talking to you in this forum, but tomorrow morning, 5 of us will be having threats. 5 of us will be having FIRs against us. Mr. Nagpal is sitting in this call. Mr. Jain is sitting in this call. Both of them have attempt to murders on their name. All the core people have several FIRs against them. We have gone to Human Rights Commission. Everybody, whether it's Singapore, Australia, Germany, just hundreds of people from different countries.
Intimidation from the developer, Uday Vavekar. That's the other thing. Home buyers, individuals who speak up, face cases of intimidation from the developer. In this particular case, it's appalling, the stories that we've heard. Completely appalling, the behavior of this developer. And it just doesn't seem like the law can get a handle on this person. These two people seem to be completely above the law.
I still differ. In this country, if we are together and we really put an action on all fronts together, individually it will be very difficult.
1,700 buyers have come together and they have not managed to throw the book at this developer.
Let me tell you, 4,000 farmers of Maharashtra state government, ICICI Lombard policies, because of the suicides the farmers were doing, government paid nearly 800 crores to ICICI Lombard. Not a single claim was processed. And this complaint, Maharashtra was the first state to file a class action petition. And today nearly 3,000 claims are paid and settled. So I'm giving an example, live example.
A class action petition, Sanjay Nagpal. This is unfortunately as far as the law will take you, a class action petition from all of the buyers together, attempt to fast track the case that you already have going, and of course keep coming back to the media. You seem to be shaking your head. You're not satisfied with that advice.
No, basically I will be different from Uday. If I am going to the consumer court also, once I will get the decree, the company is in the liquidation, I have to go again to the company court for execution of the decree, and if the property is not sufficient, again it will take 10 years, 20 years.
It will still take 10 years, 20 years. Neerav Jani, you know that's true. You look like you know that's true.
It's a political problem. You take it up on a political basis.
I think Neerav has heard. I think Neerav has heard only one. Neerav is one track mind in terms of a decree. Neerav, I am not talking the decree. I am also saying make all the departments as a party to take the necessary actions. So the action will not be one-sided. It will be multifold, and all those departments will have to do, because if there is a decree
but
against the department.
at the end of the day, Uday Vavekar, if it comes down to just liquidate the assets, then we're right back to where we started from.
At least they'll get the top priority. Today they have lowest priority. Let us look at some positive aspect. And
class action suit, all right, we've run out of time, but we're going to come back to this issue. Class action suit, attach names of all public authorities, local level authorities, anybody who's given a license to this developer, the EOW, whoever you have to name, to sort of bring the political clout onto this entire case. That's the only way you can put yourself on the top of that list for the liquidator. That's the advice that Uday Vavekar is giving you. Neerav Jani says try and fast track the case that you already have going. Unfortunately, we've run out of time, but this is a case that we're going to continue to track. Sanjay Nagpal, we will stand by your side. We will track this case and we will try and make accessible to you any sort of help that you need. If you're watching at home and you'd like to get in touch with us, our contact details are on your screen. You can reach me personally on Twitter. Thank you for watching.
You can watch live TV on our website mpnow.in. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/MagicBricksNow. And don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at MagicBricksNow. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/MagicBricksNow.